All right, so have you ever gotten frustrated like waiting for a website to load? I know I have.
Oh, yeah,
Feels like it takes forever.
it does.
So today we're going to do a deep dive into something that affects all of us every time we go online, and that's website speed optimization.
Yes.
We've got this really awesome Portuguese SEO guide that we're going to be looking at as our source.
Okay, cool.
It's not in English, but we've pulled out all the juicy bits for you.
Awesome.
So get ready because we're about to uncover why a speedy website isn't just, like a nice thing to have. It's essential.
It really is. And I think what's so interesting is that we only notice website speed when it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
When a site is slow,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly it's all we can think about.
Yeah, it's like, trying to watch a movie and it keeps buffering,
Right.
It completely ruins the experience.
Yeah.
So let's get to the heart of the matter here.
Okay.
Why does website speed matter so much beyond just those annoying delays?
Well, on the surface level, a faster website means a happier user. People are more likely to stick around, explore your content, and even make a purchase. If it's an online store,
Sure.
imagine you're trying to buy something online, but the checkout page takes forever to load.
Right.
You're probably just going to give up.
Oh, yeah, I've totally done that.
Right.
Absolutely. I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah.
But, there's got to be more to it than just like user frustration.
Right. It goes deeper into the world of search engine optimization, SEO.
Okay.
Google actually uses site speed as a ranking factor,
Really?
especially for mobile searches.
Huh.
So a faster site can actually help you rank higher in the search results, making it easier for people to find you.
So it's not just about the tech stuff, behind the scenes.
Right.
It's about getting your website seen by more people,
Exactly.
which is really what we all want.
Yes.
Now, I remember reading something about how slow sites can even affect how search engines crawl and index a website.
That's right. Search engines have limited resources, and if your site takes too long to load, they might not be able to crawl and index all of your pages efficiently.
Oh, wow. So they just skip over it.
Basically. Plus, if people are quickly leaving your site because it's slow, we call that a high bounce rate,
Okay.
and that can negatively impact your SEO.
So speed really does have this ripple effect,
Yes, it does.
that affects everything.
Yeah.
So now that we know why it matters,
Right.
let's talk about what we can do about it.
Okay.
Give us the toolkit.
All right.
What are some techniques, even for non-techie people like me,
Uh-huh.
to make a website faster?
Okay, let's start with something we all understand, images.
Okay.
They can make a website look great, but they can also be huge files that slow things down. It's all about finding that sweet spot between visual quality and file size.
Okay.
Think of it like packing for a trip.
I like where this is going.
You want to bring everything you need, but you don't want to overpack your suitcase.
Right. I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So what are some ways to make those images leaner?
Inch compression is a big one. It's basically shrinking the file size without compromising too much on quality.
Okay.
Plus, you can use modern image formats like WebP, which are designed for the web and tend to be much smaller than traditional formats like JPEGs.
So it's not just about, resizing them or something.
Right.
It's about using a smarter format.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
And then there's a cool trick called lazy loading.
Lazy loading. What's that?
It only loads images when they're actually needed on the screen.
Okay.
So as you scroll down a page, images appear smoothly rather than all at once, which can really speed things up.
Ooh, that makes a lot of sense, especially for image-heavy websites.
Right.
So, okay, we've tackled images.
Oh,
Go,
yes.
what's next?
Let's talk about something called code minification.
Code minification.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, but slightly terrified.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds.
Okay.
Imagine taking a sentence and removing all the unnecessary words. The meaning stays the same, but it becomes much shorter. Code minification does the same thing for your website's code. It removes unnecessary characters, spaces, and comments without changing the functionality. This makes the code smaller and faster to load.
So it's like decluttering the back end of your website.
Exactly. You're essentially cleaning up all the extra stuff that's helpful for developers, but not necessary for the website to actually run.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so image optimization, code minification.
Uh-huh.
Check.
Yeah.
What else can we add to our website speed-boosting arsenal?
Let's talk about caching.
Caching.
Think of it like having your favorite cookbook on your kitchen counter
Okay, I like where this is going.
instead of buried deep in a cupboard.
So it's about making things easier and faster to access.
Exactly. Caching stores frequently used website data in a readily accessible place, either on the user's browser or on a server. This means that when someone visits your site, Their browser doesn't have to download everything from scratch every time.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Right?
So that's what browser caching is all about.
Yes, browser caching is a key part of this. It stores website data on the visitor's computer so the next time they visit, some elements load much faster because the browser doesn't have to fetch them from the server again.
So clever.
Yeah.
Like a little shortcut for
Exactly.
website loading.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've got image optimization, code minification caching
Yes.
under our belts.
Okay.
What's next on our quest for a faster website?
Now let's talk about something that can really slow things down. Redirects.
Redirects, you mean when you click on a link and it takes you to a different page than you expected?
Yes, that's one type of redirect. But sometimes redirects happen behind the scenes and you might not even realize they're happening.
Okay.
The problem is that each redirect adds a delay.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like taking a detour on your way to work.
So too many redirects are like getting lost on your way to work.
Exactly. They add extra steps that the browser has to process before reaching the final destination. And those steps add up, especially for mobile users who might have slower internet connections.
Got it. So minimizing those detours is key.
Yes.
Okay, so image optimization, code minification, caching, minimizing redirects.
Okay.
What else can we do to boost our website speed?
This brings us to content delivery networks, or CDNs.
CDNs. Now, those sound a little more technical.
Yeah.
Can you break those down for me?
Imagine you have an online store that ships products all over the country.
Okay.
Instead of having just one big warehouse in one location, wouldn't it be more efficient to have multiple warehouses strategically located closer to your customers?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That way deliveries are faster and more streamlined.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what a CDN does for your website content.
Ah, so CDNs are like strategically placed warehouses for website data.
Exactly.
Okay, so instead of all the information coming from one place,
Right.
it's spread out across the globe.
Exactly. A CDN is a network of servers distributed across various geographical locations. When someone visits your website, the CDN automatically serves the content from the server that's closest to them. This reduces the distance the data has to travel and therefore speeds up the loading time.
It's like having a global team
Right.
working to make your website faster
Mm-hmm.
for everyone, no matter where they are.
Precisely. And it's becoming more and more important as the internet becomes increasingly global.
Right.
So, okay, we've covered quite a bit. Image optimization, code minification caching, minimizing redirects, and CDNs.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Are there any other, like, speed-boosting tricks up our sleeve?
There are a few other things we can touch on, like database optimization and server-side improvements. Think of it like fine-tuning the engine of your website to make sure it's running as smoothly as possible. We can dive into those a bit more later, but for now, let's move on to something just as important. Actually implementing these speed improvements.
Okay, so we have this awesome toolkit now,
Right.
but sometimes just, like, knowing where to start can be overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
Where do we begin?
I'm glad you asked. A great first step is a performance audit. Think of it as a health checkup for your website. There are free tools out there like Google Page Speed Insights
Okay.
that can analyze your site and show you which areas need attention.
So it's like getting a diagnosis
Yes.
for your website, pinpointing the areas that need some work.
Yeah. And if you want to go deeper, there are tools like GT metrics and web page tests that provide even more detailed analysis.
Oh, wow. Okay, so then we have our diagnosis.
Right.
What do we do with it?
Not all improvements are created equal. Prioritization is key.
Okay.
You want to focus on the areas that will make the biggest difference for your specific website and target audience. Don't feel like you have to tackle everything at once.
So it's about being strategic with our time.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once you've made some changes, don't forget to measure their impact. A/B testing is a great way to do this.
A/B testing, what's that?
It's basically comparing two versions of something to see which performs better.
Okay.
In the context of websites, you would test different variations to see how they affect speed and user behavior. It helps you make informed decisions about which changes are actually working.
It's like a scientific experiment
Exactly. It helps you move beyond guesswork and make data-driven decisions.
for your website.
Yes.
Okay, so performance audits, prioritization, A/B testing.
Uh-huh.
Got it. What else is crucial to consider this whole website speed optimization journey?
Well, remember how we talked about Google prioritizing site speed, especially for mobile searches?
Yes.
That brings us to a really important topic, mobile optimization.
Right. It feels like almost everybody browses the internet on their phones these days.
Absolutely. Making sure our websites work flawlessly on phones and tablets is no longer optional. It's essential.
So how do we approach mobile optimization? Is it just about like making everything smaller?
That's part of it, but there's more to it than just shrinking things down.
Hmm.
We'll dive into the world of mobile optimization in more detail later.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into website speed optimization.
So we're picking up right where we left off, talking about the ever-important world of mobile optimization.
You know, it's amazing to think about how much the internet landscape has changed. Just a few years ago, mobile optimization was like an afterthought for a lot of website owners.
Right.
Now it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it feels like the tables have completely turned.
Right.
We used to design websites for desktops first
Yeah.
and then figure out how to like make it work on mobile.
Right?
And now it's like,
It's the opposite.
yeah, we design for mobile first and then adapt for larger screens.
Exactly. Mobile-first design is becoming increasingly popular, and for good reason.
Uh-huh.
It forces us to prioritize what's truly important
Right.
and create a streamlined experience that works well on smaller screens.
Okay, so we've established that mobile optimization is a must-have. But what does that actually look like in practice?
Okay.
Where do we even begin?
Well, one of the most fundamental aspects of mobile optimization is responsiveness.
Responsiveness.
Yeah.
Okay, now that word gets thrown around a lot in web design.
Yeah.
Do you unpack that for us?
Sure.
What does it actually mean for a website to be responsive?
Think of it like this. A responsive website is like a chameleon. It can adapt to different environments, in this case, different screen sizes and orientations.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So whether you're viewing a website on like a giant desktop monitor or a tiny smartphone screen,
Right.
it should look and function perfectly on both.
Exactly. The layout images, text interactive elements should all adjust dynamically to provide an optimal viewing experience regardless of the device being used.
So you don't have to pinch and zoom or like scroll sideways
Right.
just to read a paragraph of text or click on a button,
Exactly.
which is incredibly frustrating.
It is, and it can make people abandon your site altogether.
Yeah.
A responsive design eliminates those frustrations and makes browsing on mobile a smooth and enjoyable experience.
Yeah, got it.
Oh.
Okay, so responsiveness is key.
Yes.
What else do we need to think about when it comes to mobile optimization?
Another critical factor is touchscreen compatibility.
Okay,
You know, fingers are a lot clumsier than mouse cursors,
right.
so we need to design with that in mind.
That's a good point. I've definitely like tried to tap on a button
Yeah.
on my phone and accidentally hit the wrong one
Right.
because it was just too tiny.
Exactly. So we need to make sure that buttons and links are large enough to be easily tapped with a finger, and that navigation menus are intuitive for touchscreen interactions.
Makes sense.
We want to make it as easy as possible for people to interact with our websites on their mobile devices.
So it's all about creating a user-friendly experience even on those smaller screens.
Exactly. And speaking of user-friendly experiences, let's circle back to a topic we touched on earlier, page load speed.
Right. We talked about how important page load speed is in general,
Yes,
but I imagine it's even more crucial on mobile.
absolutely. Mobile users are often on the go, and their internet connections can be less reliable than desktop connections.
Every millisecond counts.
Precisely.
Mm.
A slow-loading website can be the kiss of death on mobile. People are much more likely to abandon a site if it takes too long to load on their phone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Patience is definitely a virtue, but it wears thin. When you're just trying to access information on your phone and the website's taking forever.
We're all busy and we expect things to happen quickly, especially on our mobile devices.
Uh-huh.
So let's recap what we've covered so far in terms of mobile optimization.
Okay.
We've got responsiveness, touchscreen compatibility, and blazing fast page load speeds.
That's good.
Anything else we should keep in mind?
It sounds like a pretty comprehensive list, but I have a feeling you have one more trick up your sleeve.
You know me too well. There's one more tool in our mobile optimization arsenal that we haven't discussed yet. Accelerated mobile pages, or AMP.
Ah, yes, AMP.
Yeah, you remember?
You mentioned it briefly earlier.
Yes.
Can you remind me what makes AMP so special?
AMP is basically a stripped-down version of HTML designed specifically for mobile devices.
Okay.
It focuses on speed and efficiency above all else.
Okay.
AMP pages load almost instantly, even on slower connections.
So it's like the express lane for mobile browsing.
Exactly. AMP pages are designed to deliver content as quickly as possible, which can significantly improve the user experience, especially for people browsing on their phones.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Are there any trade-offs, though, with using AMP?
There can be some limitations. AMP pages have strict rules about what types of code and features you can use.
Okay.
You can't use all the bells and whistles that you might be used to on a regular web page. It's like trading some of the luxury features of a car
Oh.
for a super fast engine.
Got it. So it's about prioritizing speed over some of the fancier functionalities.
Right. AMP is a great option for content that prioritizes speed, like news articles, blog posts, product pages.
Right.
But for more complex websites with lots of interactive elements, it might not be the best fit.
So it's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
When deciding whether or not to use AMP,
Right.
you need to weigh the benefits of super fast loading speeds against the potential limitations in design and functionality.
Precisely. It's a balancing act. But for
Yeah.
many websites, the benefits of AMP outweigh the drawbacks.
We've been talking about mobile optimization. It struck me how important user experience is in all of this.
You're absolutely right. All these technical optimizations we've been discussing, responsiveness, touchscreen compatibility page, load speed, AMP,
Right.
they're all ultimately about creating a better experience for the people who visit our websites.
Yeah, it's about making their lives easier, more enjoyable, and more productive.
Exactly. When we prioritize the user experience, everyone wins. Users are happier, businesses see better results, and the web as a whole becomes a more delightful place to be.
I love that sentiment. Okay, so as we continue our exploration of website speed optimization, let's keep this user-centric approach front and center. Now, I'm curious to learn more about the connection between website speed and SEO.
Okay.
We touched on it briefly earlier,
Yeah.
but I'm eager to dive deeper into that relationship.
I'm happy to delve into that. It's a topic that's often misunderstood, but it's incredibly important for anyone who wants their website to rank well in search results. We'll explore that fascinating intersection of speed and SEO after a quick break. Welcome back to the deep dive.
We're ready to tackle the final piece of the website speed optimization puzzle, the connection between website speed and SEO.
It's interesting how these two things, website speed and SEO, are so intertwined.
Right. It's like they're partners in a dance,
Uh,
working together to create a website that both users and search engines love.
exactly. And understanding that partnership is key to creating a website that ranks well and attracts visitors.
So let's break it down. Why does website speed matter so much for SEO?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Google considers site speed a ranking factor.
Okay.
This means that all other things being equal, faster websites are more likely to rank higher in search results than slower websites.
So if two websites have similar content,
Right.
in authority, the one that loads faster has a better chance of
Yeah.
showing up higher in those search results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense when you think about it from Google's perspective.
Okay.
Their goal is to provide the best possible experience for their users.
Right.
And that includes delivering search results that are relevant, informative, and fast.
Right. Nobody wants to click on a link and then have to wait forever for the page to load.
Exactly. It's frustrating, and it makes people think negatively about the website and potentially even Google itself.
Yeah, so Google's incentivized to prioritize those faster websites
Uh-huh.
because it creates a better user experience for, their searchers.
Precisely. And they've even stated publicly that page speed is a ranking factor, especially for mobile searches.
So it's not just about appeasing the Google gods.
Right.
It's about creating a user-friendly experience that
Right.
benefits everyone.
Absolutely. And the impact of website speed on SEO goes beyond just rankings.
Okay.
A faster website can also lead to lower bounce rates.
Now remind me, what are bounce rates again?
A bounce rate is essentially a measure of how quickly people bounce away from your website.
Okay.
It's the percentage of visitors who leave after only viewing one page.
So a high bounce rate means people aren't sticking around to explore your content.
Right. They're landing on your site and then quickly leaving.
Yeah.
It's a bit like going to a restaurant, taking one bite of your food, and then deciding to go somewhere else.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that slow-loading websites are a major culprit
Uh-huh.
when it comes to high bounce rates.
You guessed it. If people have to wait too long for a page to load,
Mm,
they're more likely to get impatient and go back to the search results to find a faster alternative.
makes sense.
And when people bounce away from your site, it sends a signal to Google that your content might not be relevant or engaging, which can negatively impact your rankings.
So it's like this vicious cycle.
It is.
Yeah.
Slow loading times lead to high bounce rates, which can then lead to lower rankings,
Right.
which can further reduce traffic to your site.
Okay, so we've established that website speed is crucial for SEO.
Yes.
But how can we optimize both speed and SEO together?
Okay.
Are there any specific strategies we should be implementing?
Absolutely. There are a number of things you can do. One important strategy is to focus on optimizing the content that appears above the fold.
Above the fold. What does that mean exactly?
It refers to the content that's visible on a web page without having to scroll down. It's the first thing people see when they land on your site.
Oh, got it. So it's like the storefront of your website.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's crucial to optimize this content for speed because it's what determines whether people stick around or bounce.
Okay, so how do we go about optimizing above the fold content for speed?
One effective tactic is to minimize the number of HTTP requests.
HTTP requests. Now that sounds a bit technical. Can
Yeah.
you explain that in a way that even I can understand?
Sure. Imagine you're going to the grocery store to buy ingredients for a recipe.
Okay.
You need to get a few different items from different aisles. Each trip down an aisle represents an HTTP request.
Okay, I'm starting to see the picture.
Now imagine that instead of making multiple trips back and forth, you could get everything you need in one go.
Right.
That would be much faster, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it would save a lot of time and effort.
Exactly. And that's basically what we're trying to do with HTTP requests.
All right.
We want to reduce the number of trips the browser has to make to the server to fetch all the different elements of a web page.
So it's about making the browser's job easier by minimizing those back and forth trips.
Precisely. And we can do this by reducing the number of elements on the page, combining files, and using techniques like CSS sprites to reduce the number of image requests.
It's all about streamlining the process,
Right.
making things as efficient as possible.
And it can make a big difference in page load times, especially for mobile users who might have slower connections.
Okay, so minimizing HTTP requests
Yeah.
is a good strategy for optimizing above-the-fold content.
Yes.
What else can we do?
Another important tactic is to leverage browser caching.
We talked about browser caching earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's about storing website data on a visitor's computer so
Yeah.
they don't have to download it again every time they visit.
Exactly. And it can be a huge time saver, especially for repeat visitors. When a browser can retrieve files from its cache, it doesn't have to make requests to the server, which speeds up page load times significantly.
Like having a VIP pass.
Precisely. And we can optimize browser caching by setting appropriate expiration dates for different types of files. For example, static files like images and style sheets can be cached for a longer period of time than dynamic files like news articles.
So we're telling the browser, hey, you can hold on to this information
Right.
for a while because it's not going to change.
Exactly. Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
I've heard that using a content delivery network or CDN can also give both website speed and SEO a boost. Is that true?
Absolutely. CDNs are a fantastic way to improve website performance and reach a wider audience.
Okay.
Remember our analogy of the warehouses located closer to customers?
Yes, that's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
CDNs are essentially networks of servers that are distributed across the globe. When someone visits your website, the CDN automatically serves the content from the server that's closest to them.
So it's like having a global team of delivery drivers
Exactly.
working to get your website content to your visitors as quickly as possible.
And this not only speeds up page load times for users around the world,
Right.
but also improves SEO by reducing latency and server load.
Latency. What's that?
Latency is basically the delay that occurs when data travels between 2 points.
Okay.
The farther apart the 2 points are, the greater the latency.
So by using a CDN, we're reducing that distance
Yeah.
and therefore reducing latency.
Precisely. And this is especially important for websites that have a global audience.
Got it. So it sounds like CDNs are a win-win for both website speed and SEO.
They are. It's one of those strategies that can have a significant positive impact on both user experience and search engine rankings.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into website speed optimization. We've talked about the importance of speed for user experience and SEO. We've explored a variety of techniques for making websites faster. And we've even touched on the crucial role of mobile optimization.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
And I think we've equipped our listeners with a solid understanding of why website speed matters and what they can do to improve it.
I agree. And as we wrap things up, I think it's important to reiterate one key point.
Okay.
Website speed optimization is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time fix, but rather a continuous journey of improvement.
I couldn't agree more. The digital landscape is constantly evolving and user expectations are always changing.
Right?
We need to stay vigilant, monitor our website's performance, and make adjustments as needed.
So it's like tending a garden.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just plant the seeds and walk away.
Uh-huh.
You need to water them, weed them, make sure they're getting enough sunlight.
Exactly. It's about making website speed optimization a part of your regular website maintenance routine.
And remember, even small improvements can make a big difference over time.
Absolutely. Whether it's compressing images, minifying code, or simply reducing the number of plugins you're using every little bit helps.
So don't get overwhelmed. Just pick one thing to focus on and make steady progress.
Exactly. And remember, the rewards are well worth the effort. A faster, more optimized website will not only improve your search rankings and drive more traffic,
Right.
but also create a more enjoyable experience for your visitors.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Website speed optimization is an investment in your website's future
Yes.
and a key ingredient in building a thriving online presence.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into website speed optimization.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned some valuable insights along the way. Until next time, happy optimizing.